Okay, so we're on the air.
Donald.
Hi, Donald.
Hello.
Yes, we're here.
Oh, good. I just tuning in. I don't know how long you've been going, but I want to just listen in and then put my phone here on mute, and if I need to ask a question or something, I just want to listen along.
Okay.
And learn stuff.
Fine.
Yeah. I'm trying to learn the process of some of the techniques you guys are doing.
Well, what you really have to do is start going through, especially the latest directory, American Tax Collector.
Okay.
Have you joined the Yahoo group?
Well, yeah, I have joined up. I was listening to Dwayne. Patrick Devine.
Yes.
His stuff, and I'm impressed with what he's doing. And he's got so many paperworks and doing it. The devil's in the detail. And I don't know the devil, but in the details, I do know the concepts. The concepts are right on.
There's a lot of paperwork. However, really what it amounts to is it's been winnowed down. A lot of the paperwork that's out there is we're not doing it anymore.
Oh, okay.
And it is boiled down to he put up just sort of some notes on the 1099-C yesterday and an audio about that. And I think if you review the latest files in the directories, especially within the last 3 weeks, and the phone calls from Sunday and Monday of last week, that'll give you pretty much of a head start on where we are.
Oh, okay. Because what I'm doing, I'm trying to get it. I have ideas about simplifying a lot of things, and I'm doing some experiments. I call it experiments because from the ideas that I'm gathering with all this knowledge I've been getting from studying this stuff, is to begin the process with the birth certificate, doing it properly, and then going in and doing everything and setting myself up with the grantor's trust. But I'm doing it with an ID card and then a contract with the federal government to come in as a independent.
This is Pat. I'm online. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The first thing you need to start doing is understanding the 1099-C. Okay.
Yeah.
You've already got the contracts in place. Okay. You need to come in and start canceling debt. Okay. And basically, these are unnatural debts. Okay, they're created by a corporation.
Gotcha.
So you have to come in and cancel the debt. But you need to go in and get that a state EIN number, and then you need to get your foreign grantor EIN number.
Oh, okay.
You need to listen to those audios. Okay, you can't claim your assets out of the certificate of live birth until you get your foreign grantor EIN number.
Oh, okay. Foreign grantor's the EIN, and what's that other number?
Estate.
The other one is an estate EIN. Okay. You've got a dead man's estate out there. Okay. And listen to the audios and basically talk to people about getting that EIN. There are several people on the group that have gotten it, and they can help you out.
Good.
Okay. You try and go off in a different direction, and I can guarantee you'll probably screw it up.
Well, that's the learning curve. If I can get the process and all that, then I understand the concept. But all the details of the paperwork and stuff,
there isn't much
what I need
to
to guide.
I've tried to break this thing down.
Okay.
So just sit back and listen and try and comprehend what we've done. We've tried to put it all together.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So
don't mix it up with the other procedures you've used. Don't try to combine those procedures into this.
Yeah, it's a procedure, and I don't know. It's just like going into court. They got so many procedures that you really get prompted in it before you go. You wouldn't know.
You are not obligated to follow their procedures. Okay, you need to read the 11th Amendment to the Constitution. The judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of a foreign state.
Gotcha.
You
Yeah.
need to understand what that amendment is saying. It's saying they do not have jurisdictional power over you as an American
Period.
citizen.
Yeah. That's you're right about that. Okay. Yeah, I knew that. I mean, just by I always known that, but I don't know the arguments and the details on how you explaining it. But it makes sense now because I have read the 11th Amendment,
Right.
and it's clearly
you need
stated
to read
right there.
what I put up there about that affidavit about the word life. Okay, it's the opposite of right. Life is the opposite, okay? But basically they're the same. Life, you have right. And basically
right
they
on.
both end in IGHT. Okay? So one is the left, one is the right. Okay? And basically your life gives you your rights. Okay? And when in America, when you come of age, you have to express grant, because we do not have a king in this country, so only we can express the grant to ourselves.
Right, and we have to go in and make the initiative. That's the way it's done. Okay.
Yes, and that's what you do by getting a foreign grantor's EIN number account. You are expressing the grant.
And you call it foreign grantors EIN trust, or EIN foreign grantors.
It's a foreign grantor trust. Read the documents, study what I've put up there. Talk to the people on the site. Post some messages on the site and ask the question.
Okay.
You're not going to get an answer unless you ask the question.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I got to start paying more attention.
If you want to be active, we have a Skype group you can join.
It was great.
We're talking all day long about this.
Yeah. Well, another thing I want to do is keep joining these calls. I just found out about you calling a couple of weeks ago, and this is the second week I'm in here.
Okay.
So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. You recording this, Tom?
Yes, we turned it on. We're on the air.
Okay. Yeah, you got that audio that I posted yesterday and that other 1099-C up there, right?
Yes, it went up. It went up about 30 minutes after you got it to me.
Okay. Now there's one key thing in here. Okay. We are, and basically that 1099-C. Okay, we were told to learn our A, B, C's. Okay. It wasn't. You need to learn the A's, the B's, and the C's. It was you need to learn the A, singular, the B, singular, and then the C's, multi. Because the C stands for more than one item in that. You are an American Chancellor. Okay, you are an American creditor. You are an American customer. You can cancel debt, and you can collect tariff taxes. A whole bunch of C's right there. 5 of them, in fact. We are the Chancellor. You go into court. You are a visiting judge, a Chancellor, an American Chancellor judge, to come in and adjudicate the matter. Unless you've caused actual physical harm, and then you fall under their jurisdiction, and they have to put on their other hat of being a legal judge, a judge of real law. But you come in and see, you're coming in as a American Chancellor under the 11th Amendment. And basically, you are a magician. All you have to do is speak the words of magic, or the magic words. Hocus pocus. Let this debt be canceled, and I am collecting the tariff taxes. Magic out here. And basically, you need to look up some of these definitions that I told you before. Okay? Basically, magic, which means the unnatural interference with nature. They have tried to use magic against us in the forms of all these false contracts, corporate contracts. Corporations are unnatural. They're not natural. They're fictional. And all their debt that they create is an unnatural debt against the people. So you cancel all debts and tax the unnatural corporations that have filed the false debt charges to cause harm to the nature of man. Now, I'm going to put up a new Rev 1. I put some additional clarification on that 3 levels of creditor up there. So it's going to be a Rev 1 to that document. So I'll post that up tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Counselor.
I'm going to ask, take a break here and basically ask if there's any questions, and then I'm going to go into a little more detail into what goes into that form, and I'll try and break it down into several different categories so that but you need to take the form and then you sit down and fill in so you have a working template for you to follow, a guideline. Okay? So, let's throw it open to some questions here, see if anybody has pertinent questions.
Before people have questions, I'm hearing some background noise already. Could people who are not speaking mute themselves with *6? Because I'm hearing some background noise and heavy breathing and all of that, and it's sort of tolerable right now, but it's easily get out of control. And it's gotten quiet again, so I think everybody's done that. So just go ahead. Patrick, I have collected a bunch of questions from the group, but I think they will probably work better after you explain what you're doing here.
Well, is there anything that basically right off the bat here that you think that might pertain that I can answer up front here, and then basically I'll go into more detail later. This
is sort of in the more detailed category. It was on the 1099 let's see what category. Oh, on the labor where we file the 1099-Cs and then do it with a 1041, and then we follow it with amended 1041s. You had mentioned earlier using a 1041-T to accelerate the process. We still be doing that?
No, not the 1041-T, okay? You only need to do the 1040, okay?
This is Don coming back in. I got cut off.
Okay. Mute yourself with a *6, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes,
we do the 1040
for labor.
Okay.
For labor.
Well, basically, if you got a W-2, okay, you will go in and do a 1040 form. You do a cancellation of all your debt, of all the wages that they charge to you. You cancel that amount of debt. And I will go into detail a little more on what all debt you need to cancel on that W-2.
Okay.
Because there's more debt there than you know. Okay? Now, you do that with the 1040 form. You just put everything down for zero. Once you've canceled and done the 1099-C, you've canceled the debt. Now, that becomes lawful money. When you cancel the debt, when you take out a dollar bill, look at it. There's a black seal and there's a green seal. When you cancel the debt, that you're canceling the black seal on that dollar bill. Okay? Now it's lawful money. Do you owe taxes on lawful money? The answer is no. Okay? Now you are getting paid for your labor. Can they tax labor? The answer is no. The only thing that they can tax is debt. Okay, so when you've taken the debt away from them, they can no longer try and tax you and hold you in bondage. Okay, so you can only do one 1090 or 1040 form a year. You want to amend the 1040 and do another 1040, you do a 1040X. That is the amended for the 1040. Now on the 1040, they also have a blank on there for if you want your deposit directly deposited into your checking account. And I would make this a non-interest bearing or a tax-free checking account. You can address this, that this is a tax-free checking account. When you put lawful currency in there. And you keep the bank from coming after that. And you also refuse the FDIC insurance over that. You let the FDIC come in and basically insure that, and basically now you have a debt hanging over that account. Okay? You lose it, the bank closes up, you can't get to it. So what? You got more assets out there. Then you can always go back and file a charge against the bank by using the IRS forms. During the settlement of the liquidation of that bank, you can basically then come in as a major creditor to claim the assets of that bank. You're a shareholder out here. That's why I named this group site, We the People, Shareholders. We're the shareholders of all these corporations, whether you know it or not, okay? We bought into them. We've given them the assets for them to operate with. So we have a share, a lawful share right in those companies. Even Walmart, we're a shareholder in the background of Walmart because they come in and they're borrowing from the American Treasury every year because they have to zero their books at the end of the year. So they have to borrow the money from somewhere. There's only one source of real assets in this country, and that is our accounts held at the Treasury, the American Treasury. But right now they're being held under the United States country treasury. And see, we've got to become like Nathan Hale back around the Revolutionary War time, the man without a country. We are a man of the nation. We don't come from a country. We come from the land, the nation. So we will be a man without a nation, or a woman without a nation, or without a country. We are from the nation. We're American citizens. Okay, go ahead. More questions?
Are you going to explain more how? Well, I'm confused. How do I cancel the debt for property taxes? Do I send that to the county treasurer when I do that?
Or make it out to who the bill came from, okay?
Okay.
And I put the example of that up on the other one, of going after the examples of debt and credit, okay?
Yes, you mean the corporation?
Okay, the corporations, yeah, the debtor. Okay. You put the, and basically you put down the county treasurer, office of treasurer, okay? And you care of their U.S. Postal Depository for their income bonds. See, they wrote income bonds. There's two sets of bonds out here that these corporations write or have written. One is income, the other is liability. They're the ones that owe the taxes on the income, not us. So when we cancel the debt that's behind those bonds, now it all becomes income to them. It becomes lawful settlement or payment to us. And we owe no taxes on lawful currency of exchange. But they owe taxes on the income, tariff taxes. And then we come in as the tax collector to claim that back. In this country, you only have to pay for services rendered. You don't go into Walmart and pick up a bunch of stuff and say, oh, well, you've got to pay for this item over here and this item over here too, or else you're not getting out of the store. Well, if I don't get those items, I ain't going to pay for them. And see, that's what they've been trying to force upon us in the form of those property taxes. They've been trying to force a service on you in the form, in a lot of cases, newly married couples don't have any kids. They impose a school tax upon them to keep them in bondage, to keep them in debt. That's what these corporations are all about. They want to keep you under their control. They're the unnatural. And you have to come in there and say the magic words. I cancel this debt and claim this tax. Now, you're the chief magician. You're the one that has the all-seeing eye of understanding. They're just wannabe magicians. Just like in the movie, Now I See You, okay? Morgan Freeman was the wannabe. He never really was a true magician that was accepted into the all-seeing eye. When you have the understanding, then you can see what is going on. And it's not that hard. But people go out there and try and make it harder than what it really is. All you have to do is say simple words. I cancel this debt and claim the return of the unused services. Pretty simple, okay? More questions?
Yes, on the 56 and 56F, are we still signing as executor, or do we now say fiduciary? Because you mentioned fiduciary when you're doing the 1099-Cs.
Well, basically, that is what the 1041 calls you, as a fiduciary.
Okay.
Okay, read the forms, okay? We are a fiduciary out here, in all cases, over our accounts. You have a fiduciary responsibility. Don't try and fight some of these words that they have out there, okay? They're not trying to trick you. You're the one that is tricking yourself in a lot of this by not getting the right understandings of the words. And they put a lot of these words into their law dictionaries to confuse you. You need to go outside the box to find out what is inside the box. Who was it addressed to? Was it really addressed to you, or was it addressed to somebody else? Why are you opening up somebody else's mail when it really wasn't addressed to you? I'm just using that as basically as an example, not saying that basically when you get a bill, it's addressed to you, okay? You have the responsibility to take care of that. And all you have to do is cancel the debt. Turn it into lawful currency. Then you owe no taxes, but you're forcing them to pay the taxes on their income.
Okay. Now, on the latest 56 you posted, and the
that
address,
was some time ago, okay?
Right. So I presume that we get rid of the residential gravazio on there, on the care of address.
Yeah, put CO and put WO.
Right, okay.
Without city, state, and country.
Right. And then in our address, we no longer use the post box number.
No. You put, for your address, okay, as the fiduciary.
Yes.
You put their address down just the way they have it on the form.
Okay.
But for the fiduciary, you put CO and WO, W/O, okay?
Okay.
And you put the box number and everything else on there.
Okay, I had it backwards. Okay.
Okay.
Got it. So the first three lines are just as it comes on the confirmation letter. And then the next three lines, my address is just as we discussed it.
Yes, as the fiduciary, as the living, the American citizen. Okay.
And then I sign down at the bottom as an APEO?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the principal executive of the land of America, the nation of America. You operate under treaty law, not under state, corporate, or city law. The treaty law is basically the Declaration of Independence, and then the Articles of Confederation was a treaty between the states and the people. Constitution was a corporate charter with the people and the corporate states. And then the 14th Amendment created a sub-corporation, subset of corporations out here in the postal system, in the dead world system, to where they can be corporations for profit. The initial Constitution just set up corporations, not for profit. Corporations for services only. But the 14th Amendment created the corporations for profit. The dead, the debtors. Go ahead, more questions?
Okay, on your visitor's badge, you say we can do it with or without the 98 EIN.
No, basically you've got to have that 98 number, okay?
Oh, okay.
You really have to get that 98 number, okay? You have to express grant.
So we can do a few withdrawals just on the estate, but we really need to get right straight to the 98 number too.
Yes, you can do the cancellations under the Social Security number or under the estate EIN number.
Okay.
Hey Patrick, this is Mike from Chicago. I actually have my 98 number. I got it probably maybe like three years ago. I was working with some guys out of Atlanta. I didn't really know what I was doing, but they like went to Philadelphia, and when they set up my estate number, they got the foreign grantors trust for me at the same time.
Okay.
But I had a question, Patrick. Basically, to just kind of make sure that I understand the process right, and maybe it may help some some guys on the calls too. So after we let's say if we cancel the debt, and let's say if we paid money out of our back pocket on an estate, we would claim that back on the 1041 return. Am I correct, or am I following you correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
if we was doing it all,
I will explain where you need to fill that in on the 1099-C. Okay. You basically made a deposit, and in some cases you may have to do a follow-up 1099-A to claim that. But you would, and see those 1099-A's or C's will go into line 24E on the 1040 form.
Got you.
When you file that in under either the estate EIN or the foreign grantor trust EIN.
Okay.
That's the 1041, not the 1040, right?
Yeah, the 1041. Okay,
Right.
The 1040 is only for the Social Security citizen, employee, U.S. citizen or employee.
So got you. Okay, and but the last question that I had, so with like say with me, Patrick, I just acquired a car, and what I did was I put like $1,200 down on the car, and then I have a note on the car, so I'm gonna cancel the debt from the payoff on the car, and then to get my 12 to claim the money out of my back pocket, I would claim that back on an A, and I can get it back once a year, or if I file it quarterly or semi-annually or annually. When you do the return on the estate, or if you was doing it on the social.
No, wait. Okay. You've got a loan on the car.
Right.
You would put the full amount of the loan down in block 2 on the 1099-C.
Okay.
Basically, your interest that you have in there is basically you paid so much down. Okay. So basically, you have so much debt is included in there. Okay, so you subtract what you paid down from that amount, so that would leave, say you put $1,000 down. The car you bought was for $20,000. Okay, so you would subtract 19,000 from that. Okay. Then you would put 19,000 in block 3. Okay, that's the services that you've gotten from them. Okay, and you're canceling this debt for 20,000. That means that they owe you back 1,000.
Okay, I see how you calculate.
And put that in line 7. That is what needs to be returned. So when you do the 1041, you would be claiming $1,000 to be returned to you.
Right. Okay. And then, Patrick, last thing. I did a 1041. I had an accountant do it for me because when I filed for my state form, if anybody, once they file for the state, you'll see that it says that the 1041 needs to be filed by a certain amount of time. So what this guy had me to do was go get my Social Security benefits from the time that I worked, and I guess he calculated the income, and he sent that off, for the 1041, and what I got was a frivolous filing back from, the IRS. Basically, I kind of understand, from just studying with you that he never canceled any debt. So if he was claiming anything, how could you get anything back if he never canceled it? So I kind of see that now. So I don't know if that was the problem there.
Yeah,
but I remember.
Yes.
And
your major problem was going to an accountant. Okay? They work for the corporations. They're not working there for your benefit, and most of them have never been taught the right way to do this. H&R Block is a corporation. Now, are you going to trust a corporation to go after the corporations?
No, that wouldn't be wise. Right.
No, that would be ludicrous because H&R Block was set up by the corporations to keep you at bay from finding out the truth.
I really wouldn't say that he was like a regular corporation. He knew basically the private information. So
he doesn't know the private information.
But,
okay?
The
he
thing
only
is,
knows what they've been taught in school, in a corporate school. Okay. There again, you're going to the corporations to help you get away from the corporations. No.
I think I missed.
That's like going to an attorney. All these bar attorneys, they ain't going to help you.
Right. No, what I was trying to say, I think he came out basically wrong. He basically studied the private information. He wasn't a corporate person, so that came out wrong. So he's been studying the private information. So that's
So how does he correct that?
Unless he knows about the 1099-Cs, he will never help you. Okay.
Right, and he did, and he didn't know that. So that's the important part.
So can he correct this frivolous filing problem with the 1099-C?
Yes.
Doing that correctly, or just offset?
Just put a charge in, cancel the debt.
Okay.
And the debt in this case would be the frivolous filing fee?
Or whatever, you cancel that, and basically you didn't get the service, so you claim that back.
Okay.
Okay, the lawful government is not a for-profit organization. You only pay for their services that they render. You give me a bill, a service bill, and I will pay the service bill. The frivolous filing is not a service. That is a corporate charge that they're trying to put against you. You cancel that debt, and then you claim it back. Now, if they have a problem with that, let's go to court, a lawful court, and basically we will go to tax court and put our claim in.
Okay.
There is a form to go into tax court. One of the guys brought that up to me today. I will pull up that form and post it on there.
Great.
But we pretty much just stick with the 1099-Cs, and you should be off and running. Okay.
Okay. Yep. I got you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm off the line. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Thanks.
Any more questions there before we start going in there and try and break this thing down a little more in finer detail?
Well, one question on your explanation in your folder for 1099-Cs for corporations and courts, and on the box 4, I think it was, where you explained the debt. You have 2 blanks in there. Book entry cancellation of blank debt, which I would imagine would be like the loan number owed by the U.S. Treasury, and redirect to cancellation debts by the blank corporation. So it would be loan number and bank name, right?
More than likely, I'm not looking at that one. I'm looking at the last 2 examples that I put up there. So
okay.
When you sort of read those and start getting an understanding about the debt, you're doing a cancellation of the debt. And I will, when I explain these a little more in detail, in block 2, 3, and 7, what needs to go in there, then you ought to be able to see this.
Right, 4 is where you explain it.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned this before, but in discussing it on the group, it's been getting a little mixed up, and I just wanted to straighten that out, that what you're really trying to do in block 4 is identify the debt, and for a bank, the identification is the bank name and the account number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you guys don't have a good understanding, don't try and do your presumptions of what I put up there, okay? If you have a question, call me and talk it over, okay? Basically, there's things that you aren't seeing that I am, okay, in this process, okay? I don't know why I'm seeing them and everybody else isn't seeing them, but basically I'm sitting here in a different state of mind, I guess. And I know where we stand in this outfit to basically keep them, to bring them into settlement. We force their hands, okay? There's a means to go after their liability bonds of office. You're not going after the individual. You're going after the fiction, the non-natural, or the unnatural. You're not going after the natural man. Just because they lose their job doesn't mean that you went after them, okay? It's because the insurance company ain't going to insure them any longer, okay? Because they're insuring the office. They're not insuring the individual. So basically the office messed up.
And are we going after them simply because they're trying to assert jurisdiction over us, or because they gave us a ruling that was wrong?
Because they caused unnatural harm to the natural.
Okay.
Okay? They harmed the natural.
So when they harm us.
Yes.
Okay.
Patrick,
they harmed the American citizen. Go ahead.
I'm looking at this with canceling the debt for my mortgage. They're trying to force me into foreclosure. They haven't yet, and that's causing me harm. By canceling
Have you done the 1099-C?
No, I've got things ready. But is this going to stop them? Is
yes.
it going to it'll get them off my back?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you have your estate EIN?
Yes.
Do you have your foreign grantor EIN?
Not yet. I hope to have it this week.
Then you would file it in under your estate EIN.
Okay.
Okay. Or under the estate name as the creditor.
Okay.
Okay. And then you would put down the mortgage, the amount of debt that you're going to discharge, and that will be the full amount of that mortgage. When you cancel that debt, you are now putting the lawful credits up on the board out of your account held at the Treasury. So you're canceling the false debt. Okay?
All right.
So you're putting up real assets now. Now, and basically if they've had that out there for over 3 years, all of those real assets are also being held by them. Okay? So you put that down in the account number as the mortgage number. Okay? In the account number. You put the mortgage amount up there that has been discharged, the full amount. That is the amount of debt to be discharged. Then the interest in block 2 or 3 is services or paid value received. Okay? Basically, you subtract what you have, the amount that you paid in, you're going to subtract from line 2 the amount that you have paid in, principal and interest that you paid into that debt. You subtract that from that, you put that value in line 3. Now, in line 7, you put down the principal and interest that you've paid. Okay? That is what has been withheld and needs to be returned to you. Okay?
Okay.
You put that in, you put this against the debtor's corporate name, that mortgage company, and the account name. You give them the B copy of that 1099-C, and then you file this in with a 1041 for under the estate's name and get back what is in line 7. So you just took a fictional debt, the Black Seal dollar bills, and converted them into the red or the green seal of lawful currency out here. And you come into that court as an American Chancellor. And you have judicial powers that were amended by the 11th Amendment. You're coming in as the the Chancellor of Equity, the American Chancellor of Equity. You are a superior judge to that judge that's in that court. You're a visiting judge under the right of visitation. And then you're also a customer, and the customer is always right.
Patrick, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. My mom did a reverse mortgage, and I want to know if I could do this for her using my account.
Yes. You can cancel any debt.
So I can use all...
If you're willing to put up your assets for somebody else, you can support them and cancel the debt in your name.
Yeah, she's I don't think she's capable of doing this herself. She's too old. So I would do the same thing. I would put the full amount on block 2, which is the discharge amount. I would put 0 for number 3, and I would put the full amount in number 7.
Well, no. Number 2, if you paid principal and interest in, okay, you subtract the principal and interest from that refinanced refinancing mortgage. Okay, they
No,
gave her.
Yeah, they just gave
Okay.
her. They just gave her an amount, but
They gave her how much money? How much money did they give her?
I think they gave her maybe 250, 1,000, but I don't. She doesn't have to pay anything until they take the house. I think until she dies. So
So
they just
wouldn't
gave her the house. She's
whatever
kind of living. Yeah, she's living off of that because Social Security is not enough for her.
right, Patrick, wouldn't with the reverse mortgage, you'd put in 3 the amount of money they paid her as the services received?
Yes, that would go in block 3. Okay,
Yes.
so you would subtract that from, and then basically what is left. Okay, you would put down in block 7, but you would cancel the whole debt. Okay, so that basically that brings that contract into full closure. When you cancel the debt, okay, and then you claim back the credit as tariff taxes upon that corporation.
So say, I don't know the exact number. So say it's $250,000. They gave her in exchange for her house, so she can live there. Reverse mortgage. She's already paid it off, years ago, but she needed money. So it's $250,000. I would put that in, not block 2, but block 3.
No,
Right now, you just set that aside, okay?
Okay, all right.
Until you get a handle on doing a simple 1099-C and start seeing the results from that, don't try and do a complicated one yet, okay?
So just do my credit card bills that are already paid. Play with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But I would still have to do a 1041 when I do the 1099-C.
Yes.
Okay.
To claim it back. Everything.
Is it the 1041 that actually triggers off the transaction?
It is what gets the return.
Yes. Okay.
Just return, yeah.
When you file this into the A copy into the IRS, okay, that will start the process and basically force that corporation to back off. Okay? But by you giving them the 1099-C, you've given them the warning that you're coming after them.
Okay, so it's the copy A that really triggers off the transaction.
Well, basically getting the B copy into their hands starts the damn process that you're coming after them, okay? You're informing them, okay? That's an informational copy to them that you're going to come and claim you're canceling the debt, so there is no debt now, and you're going to claim the tariff taxes that they've been withholding from you.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to seize the property. Okay, they're a foreign vessel, and they're operating in American waters. Okay, and you come out there as the Marines aboard an American ship. Okay, and you're going to board their vessel. They have to allow you the right of visitation to check out the manifest of that ship. And basically anything that's causing harm to America, you have the right to seize and take off that vessel. See, people want to operate under maritime law. Basically, they better start understanding maritime law. And we are the merchant mariners out here in America. We have the power by the stroke of our pen to fill out these 1099-Cs. We're the magicians that with the all-seeing eye. We're the master magicians. They're just wannabe magicians.
So the IRS gets copy A, the bank would get copy B, and And who gets copy C?
You do?
That's your
You
copy.
do.
That's my
You
copy.
do. You're the customer.
Ah, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. C, like I said, you were supposed to learn the A, B, C's. There's more C's than just one C. Cancellation. You're the chancellor. You're the customer. You're the creditor. You're the claimer.
I like
You're
this.
a whole bunch of C's. Now you have your all-seeing eye.
Yeah,
Another C.
Yes, the law of the seas.
Yeah.
So Patrick, this is Mike real quick. You said something earlier this morning on your tape that I found real interesting. You said, and if we could just meditate on this for a minute, you said that if we want to save America, all we need to do is cancel the debt. And I mean, that just makes so much sense because it's debt. And then if the accounting agency for this corporation have a form that say cancel the debt, and if you cancel the debt, so when I cancel the debt on my car and I call them 4 to 6 weeks and say, hey, this Mike Larry estate, and I'm calling to see if this debt canceled on the car, and they tell me the debt is canceled, people, the debt is canceled. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this that's just how I see it, and I appreciate
did you see the debt? Did you see the debt that Patrick canceled Friday?
No, I didn't. I didn't. No, I haven't. I didn't see it Friday.
He canceled the national debt.
We'll see how that plays out.
Okay.
It only takes one. Okay.
Right.
And see, as long as we have a foot in the grave, okay, we can still operate in that system. And basically, as long as they haven't closed down my Social Security account and my certificate of live birth, and they're holding them in the United States country treasury, then I have access to everybody else in that cemetery. So I'm drawing upon all of their credits at the same time. I'm sort of like Nicolas Cage in the Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding all a claim to all those other people in the cemetery.
So you're not actually
come in and cancel the debt.
So you're not actually taking $17 trillion out of your estate. You're actually saying
I don't have $17 trillion probably in my estate, okay?
Right.
But it only takes one that has his foot in the grave to basically pull everybody else in the graveyard along with him.
So for all of us, you went and got $54,000 from each of our estates and got rid of it all. Got rid of that debt.
Well, I canceled the whole fictional debt. Okay,
right.
I said hocus pocus, be gone, debt. Okay, debt be gone.
Right. Sort of like the Roman, the Pope, and James McBride, same thing.
Yeah.
I guess.
See, they can't do anything. They're just another corporation out here. They're a false entity.
Mm-hmm.
Only we, as an American citizen, have the right to come in and cancel the debt as the living individual, as an American citizen.
Mm-hmm. We the people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we the people. We're the shareholders of all these corporations, so we can cancel all their debts. And we turn all that into lawful currency. So basically, I'm claiming that debt back, all the credits that were used to support their bonds that they've written out there. So now they've got to cancel all the bonds that are behind that $17 trillion. Okay, so that wasn't $17 trillion. That was really, essentially, if they operated properly, it would have been 10 bonds times 17 trillion for 3 years. So it would have been 170 trillion in bonds out there in the market.
That's because of the fractional banking.
Yeah. Of the bond, writing the bonds to get the 5% interest per bond per year for 3 years.
That's where the 3 years comes from, fractional banking.
Mhm.
Well, it is also a wagering system. And basically, under the comptroller of the currency, the comptroller has to bring those wagering contracts to closure, those bonds, because the bonds can only be out there for 3 years. He has to bring those bonds into settlement at the end of 3 years. So all the bonds that have been written have to be brought into closure, because I am bringing up out of, and see, we've got more national debt, okay? There's more corporate debt out here than $17 trillion, okay? You take your credit card. They give you a credit line of $20,000. They write bonds against that, and basically they might write 100 bonds against that credit card account, because they're operating under a different, they're not operating under the governmental regulations out there. So it may be that they have $2 million in bonds written against your account. But you come in and you claim the $20,000 against that account to cancel that debt for the $20,000 credit line that they gave you. You just now turn that into lawful value. It's no longer a debt. Now, you've only got services for, like, say, $120 you spent this last month on your credit card. So you subtract that in line 3 from that $20,000. On line 7, you claim back the difference. Now you've taken the credits away from them. They have to cancel the bonds. You just close down that account, and you got $20,000 in your back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
You just move the credits out of your estate into your back pocket.
Right.
Plus, we can get back any amounts that we've paid to them previously, right?
Sometimes you just gotta let some things go, okay?
Okay.
Take care of what is right in front of you right now, okay?
The big stuff.
Well, not necessarily the big stuff. What is right in front of you? What do you need to take care of today?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, I got a question again. Don't kick me.
Okay.
Okay, you were right. Say my credit card line is $20,000, right? But each month I've been paying them off. So what I would do is put $20,000 on line 2, and everything on line 3 I would put 0, and then line 7 I would put $20,000.
No. How much basically do you owe? How much services have you received?
Well, I've paid off, say, I paid like $12,000.
Okay, you're totally zeroed out right now, right?
Yeah, I'm zeroed out.
You're totally zeroed out.
Mhm.
You don't have any outstanding charges from them.
Oh, yeah, I do. I have to pay them.
Then you have to put that amount down on line 2 or on line 3. You put that on line 3.
So $1,100 goes on line 3.
Yes.
And then line 2 would be the credit line, 20,000.
20,000 on line 2, the full credit line.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then you subtract line 3, that's services that you've gotten already.
Which still, let's say it's $1,000.
Huh?
Let's just say it's $1,000 I have to pay them for this month.
Okay.
So 1,000 take away from 20 is 19,000 left.
Right.
And that would be on line 7.
Yeah.
That would be on line 7, and that's the amount that you would put in block 24E on the 1041 to claim that back as a return. And you would be closing down that account.
Gotcha.
Wow.
All right. Got it. I'll mute. Thanks for not kicking me.
Well, I don't kick people. I just try and slap them with the 2x4 between the eyes.
I'll call him
There's
a
big
shithead.
difference.
All right, I got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get your eye, your
I'm
third
playing,
eye to open up.
You're right. I'm going to play with this before I attempt helping my mom.
Yeah. I mean, basically, turn around and you've got to order some of those 1099-Cs.
I got them.
Rip a couple of them apart.
I did.
Fill them out. Practice with them, okay? Until you fully understand. Make templates yourself from what I put up there.
Yeah. Perfect.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
This is along the same lines as what she's talking about, helping her mom. This would be me helping my mom with a credit card debt. And my question is, if I go through and do what you just described to her, which I understand, and the credit card is closed, yet she still needs that credit card to be able to charge things on, how do I do that?
Why would she need that credit card?
Because we don't understand the system well enough to get money
I
coming
just
back.
gave you a whole bunch of money, the whole credit line. What do? You take that, you go down to the bank, you open up a non-interest-bearing checking account, tax-free, okay, because you're going to be putting lawful currency in there, credits, and have that deposited in to that account. Now, when you do that, you, at the bank, you request a debit card against that checking account.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. I missed that.
It's a debit card. It will debit credits from your account.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Now, do you need that credit card? No.
So to extrapolate this process out, if we went and got a bunch of different credit cards, we could run through this process and get the credit line that we just accessed through those credit cards back to us.
No, you don't even try and go there. You don't fuck with the devil. Okay? Come on. You want some of your assets, okay, to put into your bank account. You've got your estate EIN. You turn around and you put a charge in against your Social Security or your certificate of live birth account. You move them out of that account that's at the United States Treasury Department and move them over to your account. You cancel the debt behind that. You haven't received anything yet, so in Block 3, it's going to be 0. So basically, whatever amount you put in Block 2 is going to go into Block 7. And then you put that amount, and if you make it for like $1 million, when you do the 1041, you attach a 8302 form and have it directly deposited into your checking account.
Okay. Now, some details on that. I'm the creditor. That would be the EIN. The debtor would be the Social Security number name, right?
Yes. No. Yes.
The all caps name.
Well,
okay.
It doesn't make whether it's all caps. It all depends on whatever's on your Social Security card, okay? This all caps name and everything else basically is you go out to the cemetery and basically you will see gravestones with capital first letters, small letters.
Yeah, but it's still caps.
Well, not necessarily. They have the capability now to etch the names into granite. The only reason they were all caps before was because, like using a typewriter, instead of hitting the shift key, they just left the shift key on and typed it all out in all capital letters. Okay?
So the account number is
Okay, and for the gravestones, before they had all this sandblasting capability, they had to chisel the name. Well, you can't chisel small letters, but you can chisel capital letters a lot easier. It's logical, okay? You have to start thinking in logical terms. What took place at different points in time? And all this garbage that half these patriots out here have been operating with illogical understandings. It never made any sense, half of what they were talking about.
So the account number is the important factor, whether it's your SSN or your certificate of live birth or your naturalization number. That's the important
you can
part.
draw against either account. And basically, like, say, if a serviceman had a military time honorable discharge, he could use his selective service number, account number down there to draw against also. So he has three capabilities to draw against.
Now, the postal depository number is going to be the same. Is that going to be a problem?
No.
Okay. Awesome. I like this.
Yeah, see, it's too simple, really, when it comes down to it. All you have to do is say, hocus pocus, be gone.
Hocus pocus, be gone.
Yeah, be gone.
On the debtors, you have USPS Business Mail Entry Office Number 50318. And then you have in care of the U.S. Postal Depository for their income bonds.
That was just an example. You would have to put down your name, okay, and then your basically person, okay, Social Security person. Yeah.
So
you would just turn around and you could put that in for $1 million. Okay, you could be a millionaire tomorrow.
I might try that.
You can go down to Walmart and become a dipsty dumpster diver and become a millionaire out of Walmart. Just go in and pick up all the receipts and cancel all that debt.
Those dumpsters can be dirty.
Yeah. Send it back to Walmart and cancel the debt that they have out there, and then basically the 1099 or the 1041 will go and pull that from Walmart because they've got the bonds that are supporting that. Instead of the credit going back to the Treasury, it's now going to come to you because you have a receipt to accept that credit. This is so damn simple. I mean, and I'll probably go into detail tomorrow night on that call.
Okay.
So I'll just answer questions tonight.
Okay, so back to this example of pulling money out of Social Security or certificate of live birth, what would I put in box 4, debtor discharged and or return description?
That you're coming in to claim your American substance. Okay? Whatever you want to put in there. I gave you some examples to put up there.
Yes. Patrick
you start thinking outside the box, and you start thinking, okay?
Outside the box.
Yes, Patrick has an example that he posted on 11/6 of 1099A-C-V transfer of funds example.
Well, it's the debtor, the creditor and debtor, or debtor and creditor, or whatever.
Yeah.
One.
And on that one, you have Patrick Devine, PEO, as the creditor, lender.
Well, basically, there was 4 examples of write-ups that go into block 4. There was 4 examples of write-ups that go into the debtor's name block.
Right.
Okay? So use those as basically just foundational, not to be totally utilized. You have to start thinking outside the box. Until you can start thinking, if you don't think, then you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Right.
Okay? You just go along like all these people that go to church and everything else, and since this was Sunday, I sat there and went in with my mom, and I sat in the vehicle. I wasn't going into church because I know the truth about churches, okay? So I sat there and waited just to see if she was going to be okay and everything. But I watched all these idiots going into that church, thinking that they're going to get saved, okay? Yeah, I have yet to see one church ever save a soul.
Me either. So?
Yeah. I mean, they're all a fraud, and they're another mind control system. They're working for the corporations. In fact, most of the churches are corporations, 501c3 corporations. Mm-hmm. So they're all unnatural. Any corporation is unnatural. It's not natural. Man is the only thing that's natural here on the face of the earth. Well, and the rest of the animals and the plant life. The corporations are totally unnatural. They're of a foreign makeup. So when we cancel debt, we're operating with lawful money. Lawful money cannot be taxed. Then when we get paid with lawful money, our labor now cannot be taxed because they cannot tax labor. But if you don't cancel the debt, then they can come after you as you are part of their system, an employee, and they're trying to tax you to be part of their system and saying that you are the one that owes the taxes to them or for them. That's the game that they play, and then they control you by taking your labor away from you. And all you have to do is come in and cancel the debt. Now you turn that into lawful currency. Lawful currency can't be taxed. And you as a laborer, your labor cannot be taxed because you're getting paid in lawful currency. You're not getting paid in debt currency.
Wow.
See, that's what people go into court, and they don't know what they're really arguing out here because they never understood the money system. and you go in as the chancellor into that court as a visiting chancellor, an American citizen, and you order the cancellation of that debt. And then basically if they're causing you any harm, then you can turn around and you can cancel the debt behind their liability bond of office. You cancel the debt behind that bond. Basically that bond goes away. You claim the assets, the credits that you have converted into lawful value, because it's now basically essentially abandoned property, and you seize it. Now their bond of office has dropped below the minimum that they need to have to hold that office. Or you have canceled more debt than what was the bond was written for. The insurance company has to make up the difference for that bond, or they go after the office holder to make up the difference. Either way, you're getting your settlement for the harm that's been caused per 18 U.S.C. 242 or 42 U.S.C. 1983. But you don't have to reference those, but you can if you want to.
Can you give me those numbers again? 18
U.S.C. 242. Okay?
USC.
If they've deprived you of your rights, okay, then you can put a claim in against them. Now, I try to tell people, you do not want to go out there after revenge. Okay? The other one was 42 U.S.C. 1983. And that was for additional harm caused.
Thank you.
And that could be up to 3 times the amount of harm that they've caused. Like, say, you get thrown in jail. You turn around and basically you cancel the debt for the charge and put down like $1 million a month or more, okay? Cancel that amount of debt and basically whatever. I mean, you put that in. Now, if they've done a false arrest against you, okay, and most police officers, they do not have the jurisdiction to place you into jail. The only one that has jurisdiction is a magistrate to basically place you in the jail. That police officer was supposed to take you right in front of a magistrate right away. No messing around. Then the magistrate was the one who would determine whether you're going to jail or not. But the police officers are not magistrates. So in a lot of cases, they've overstepped their boundaries. Also, most of these judges out here, when they issue a warrant, okay, it's a false warrant because they have never clearly identified who the person was to arrest. And that warrant has to address specifically who it is that they're supposed to be arresting. They just leave it up to the discretion of the police officer, thinking that that is you, the living, when it's not you. They're supposed to be arresting the account, the fiction. And basically also the clerks of the court are not to issue out a warrant unless it is proper. So you can always file claims in against their bonds of liability. The judges, the police officers, and the clerk of the court. See, you don't know how much power you've got. Any other questions?
Corey on our Skype group had been trying to get a 98 EIN number. Are you on the call, Corey? I guess not. I'd like to go over the conversation he had about what someone recommended to him. He spoke to the lady Jackie that you had discussed on a call a while ago about 98 numbers. She recommended filling out the SS4 as a third party like Joe Smo, and it minimizes the questioning about the trust. Your mailing address will be our care of address. The principal location you want to be is foreign. She said any place foreign to the U.S. will do because no mail will be sent there. The only mail that's sent to the trust will be by way of the care of address left on the form when they send you the CP 575 confirmation. And then that will be used to file a 1041. So can we put a foreign address? It's easy for me to get an address in Canada, or will that ruin your system as far as you're considered?
You guys keep trying to come up, and I told you, this thing is simple, okay? Read the definition about light.
Okay, we'll do that again.
Yes.
Yeah,
you
I
are
did.
coming in to express grant. This is a foreign grantors trust. You're expressing grant. It's that simple. That's what I did when I submitted the 3520 to get mine. I was expressing a grant. You tell them, basically, that I'm coming in to express my American grant. I need a 98 series or a foreign grantors trust, EIN. Okay?
Okay.
These people are doing something wrong, basically, and you need to ask the question from some of these other people that have gotten theirs out here by calling up on the phone. Okay, I did the 3520 route. The IRS was the one that went and got me my number for me out of Ogden, Utah. They called up and got it from Philadelphia. Philadelphia sent me the number. I've said this before, but you, basically, and there's other people out here that have called up and got the 98 series number. So some of you people that are having problems, those are the people you need to talk to.
Yeah, Patrick.
What are you doing wrong that they did right?
I actually called just up there from the Philadelphia number. But you need to have that SS4 filled out already because you're going to have to fax it to the operator. She's going to give you a fax number when you call in, and then you have to be able to go over there. And you do have to keep the way that I got mine. I just kept everything foreign, meaning that my wife was from Mexico, so I just used the Mexican address pretty much. You know, so that's how I got mine. And it was real simple. I got it in. You know, they gave me the number right over the phone, you know, and then they the confirmation right in the mail. So,
well, basically, if you use without in front of the city, the state, and the country, you're without a city, state, and country. So you are a foreigner. When you use W/O, you're using C/O in front of your street address. You're receiving the mail in care of that street address, and then you are without a country, a city, and a state. So you are a national citizen, or a Nation of America citizen. You're still located here in America, but you're not under a corporate state, city, or country. And see, that's what Nathan Hale was back in the Revolutionary War. He was the man without a country, because a country is a corporation. And you are not part of the corporation. A corporation is unnatural. Okay? Any other questions on trying to get a foreign grantor trust EIN or a state EIN?
One of the women, I forget the name, said she tried to give them the without address, and they just wouldn't accept it. And I guess this is a case where you got to say, okay, let me talk to your supervisor.
Yes. You need to go up the line, okay?
Right.
Say, well, I don't think you understand what I'm saying here. I need to talk to a supervisor over you. And if need be, I need to talk to your department head.
Okay.
When you request a foreign grantor trust EIN, they are obligated to give it to you, because you're the one that is expressing the grant. You're coming in under right. Read my affidavit that I put up there, and I've got the definition of light in it. You can also read it in Anderson's Law Dictionary.
You made a separate document for it, too.
Yeah. But don't let that hold you up. If you've got your estate EIN, get on the ball.
Right.
You start proving that you know how to handle your estate EIN, and then basically your other will start coming easier. You will now start getting respect from the IRS.
Any more questions, guys?
I would like to say something.
Pardon?
On the question of the EIN, I mean the getting the grantor trust, I had complications with that.
Can you speak up?
Yeah. I said I had complications in getting the grantor trust when I first started started. I got my EIN, but the grantor trust, you're going to have to kind of come in and claim yourself as the grantor. Not no estate or either another person, because they won't accept that. You got to take charge. If you take charge, then they'll know who you are then. You just say, whoever you got on your estate, you just say that it's not you, because they're going to come trick with you and telling you that.
That's probably what's going on.
Yeah, see, that's how I got my estate EIN. I called up Atlanta, Georgia, and basically I bitched and moaned about getting all these items from them, okay, in the name of a dead man, Okay, they always came out all capital. I said, hey, that's a tombstone name. That ain't me. Said, I'm getting tired of this. Said, that guy's dead. And I talked to one person there. She passed me up to her supervisor, and then after about 5 minutes at each one of them, they passed me up to the department head. I rambled and bitched and moaned to him for about 15 minutes. He said, okay, I'll take care of this. Basically, about a week and a half later, I got an estate EIN out of Cincinnati. See, the IRS, when you bitch and complain the right way and get it up the ladder, high enough up the ladder, because you have to get past the local nitwits that don't know anything, that have just been put there as buffer zones. Yeah, you've got to stop being scared of these people. They work for us. We don't work for them. We're the master, especially if we're over the age of 25. We're supposed to be a free man upon the land and a master. We're no longer an apprentice. That's from 0 to 18. And from 18 to 25, you are a journeyman. At the age of 25, you've reached your full bodily capabilities. That's why the age of 25 is there. Now, after that, everything's on the downhill side. So basically, you are a master at that point in time. Now, don't think you're a teacher yet. Teacher is reserved for the elders. Basically, the ones that are over the age of 50. Because they've lived life. But even there, you got to be careful. Some of these people that are over 50 have never grown up, so you got to be careful of what they're teaching.
Any more questions, please? Well, Patrick,
no
I
more
think
questions?
Guess not. I think you've given us a lot of information here, and you've really cleared it up for me.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
On the 1099-C, if you have an open court case, how would you be able to obtain the balance in order to write the 1099-C to the court?
You come in there as the American Chancellor and a official visitor. You're an official visitor as an American Chancellor over this court.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to see the records or the manifest for that court case to bring it into closure. I have my 1099-C here in hand, and I am here to cancel any and all debt that is associated with this charge.
Okay.
Now, if they do not comply, then at that point in time, you will file a claim against them into tax court.
Okay, I get it. Thank you.
Because, see, everything out here is operated on taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll bring a charge against their office, that judge's office, of harm caused. And you can put a charge in against his bond of office. Not against the judge personally, but against the office personally.
Okay. Okay.
And we can do that against the clerk for not giving us the manifest too, right?
Yes. Basically, if you come into the clerk of the court and basically any other officer that oversteps their boundaries into the process, you're coming. You have a right as an official visitor to come in. And that's what you need to read, that definition about visit, from visit all the way through visitation, either in Anderson's or in an Oxford Universal Dictionary, to get a grasp on what rights you have about visit. And then you can also look up in the Bible about the usage of visit.
Right. But we're
also
not
look up in the Bible about nation. It doesn't talk about countries, it talks about nations.
Could you handle a garnishment the same way with a 1099-C?
Yeah, if they're trying to garnish your wages, basically they're putting a charge against your account, and you can cancel the debt behind that charge.
I mean, what if they've already done it? I mean, it's not for me, it's for my son, which they've
you
already...
can cancel his garnishment, yes,
okay,
in your name, and then claim the harm caused, okay?
Oh, mm-hmm.
If it was a valid charge, then basically it's a set-off. You canceled the debt.
Okay.
See, this is what everybody needs to do with all their checking and savings account. You go in and you cancel the debt behind that checking and savings account if you've got it in the commercial world. Get those accounts closed down and put the money over into a non-interest-bearing checking account or into a safety deposit box. I don't care which. But you need to cancel the debt behind that and get it out of their hands to where they're using it against you. We need to start bringing the corporations under control. They're out of control. They're like Mr. Smith in the movie Matrix. They're running amok.
I have a question for you, Patrick.
Okay.
I am working, so I get a W-4 form, yet I have my EIN. How do I file my taxes?
Okay, you get a W-2, you don't get a W-4. You signed up with a W-4 to give them permission to access your account.
Yes.
Okay, that was the W-4. You gave them permission to utilize your credits so that they could turn around and write the bonds. Now, you take your labor, your full amount that they're claiming that they have paid you, you write that down on a piece of paper off to the side. You go down and you figure out how much Medicare and Social Security they withheld from you. You write that number down. Now, you add the first number and the second number together. Why are you doing that? Because basically the company also is paying another Medicare and Social Security payment. You're only paying half of it. The company is paying the other half. So that is also wages that are basically being charged against your credits. So you add those two together, that goes on to line 2. Now, you've been paid so much out, given that to you in payment, in your paychecks. You add that up, that goes on line 3. That's services or pay that you've received. Now, you subtract line 3 from line 2, and that gives you line 7. Line 7 is what you're going to claim back. So you're canceling the full amount that's on line 2. You've converted the pay that you got on line 3 into lawful currency, so it can no longer be taxed on the 1040 form. So all that becomes 0 on the 1040 form. And then you claim back what is on line 7 with the 1099-C. You put that into the block to where it has the 1099-C entry or the 1099 withholdings. Put that in there and just put everything else down to 0 except for adding up those numbers, and down at the very end, that's what you're claiming back, is what's on the 1099s, either the A or the C's. You've canceled all other debt that's been associated, so now you're just claiming back your credits that basically have not been given back to you. In a sense, you're taking those credits away from the corporation's control.
Now, since I'm still working, since I haven't done a process to get money out of my Social Security or birth certificate account, should I do a W-8 to my employer telling them don't take any more taxes out?
No, I would, have you got your estate EIN?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have your foreign grantor trust EIN?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, just go in and put $1 million claim in against your estate.
Okay.
Then fucking quit your job.
Awesome.
Yeah, draw $1 million out. Go do what you want to do instead of working for some other person under their damn system. Start working for yourself.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I will
stop
do that.
being scared to break free. Okay?
Yep.
How long does it take to do a 1099-C? Not very long.
No.
Fill one out. Doesn't take too long when basically everything on the 1040 one is 0, except for 4 lines. It doesn't take too long to set up a bank account, a non-interest-bearing bank account. But I would wait if you don't have the funds. Okay, you don't have a bank account, then forget the 8307 or 8302 form and just get the Treasury check back. Now you've got a Treasury check in your hand, and basically you can open up any bank account anywhere with that Treasury check. That bank is going to want to try and open up that account for you right now. But you hold off until the very end and say, okay, I'm lining out this FDIC insurance. You don't need it. Insurance is the destroyer of this country.
True.
This country existed for almost well over 100 years before they brought in liability insurance into this country. They tried to in 1812. That's why the story about the devil and Daniel Webster came about. The devil is the one that wanted to bring in the insurance contracts, the dead man's contracts. But they didn't bring in insurance into this country, and they killed Garfield to bring it in 1887. That's when they brought liability insurance into this country. They also brought a few other things into the system at that point in time. But basically that was one of the key things was getting Garfield killed was because he was a roadblock to their bringing that into play. Woodrow Wilson and Eisenhower basically sold out in their endeavors. Roosevelt sold out to the money changers to allow them to bring in this stuff into this country, their false controls over the people. They were outright traitors to the American people. If I had my wish, they would be dug up and taken out into the ocean and dropped right there. They don't deserve any honors whatsoever.
Patrick, going back to this garnishment thing, could you use the same method that you just did on the withholding tax? And since the money was garnished, you didn't receive it, so you just put down what your wages plus the benefits in box 2, the actual amount you received in box 3, and then go for the rest and down in box 7.
You just put down the amount that they're garnishing, okay? The charge. Okay? And basically now, what was the charge related to? Was it a true debt or was it a false debt? What was the charge behind the garnishment? Was it because of a mortgage? Was it because of a credit card? You cancel those, and basically this garnishment goes away. You have to go to the source. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes a lot of sense. You're making us think, but we can almost do it.
Yeah, basically you have to go to the source document that created the subsequent item.
Okay. Any more, guys?
I think we have a lot to think on.
Yes, we got a lot of really practical information tonight.
Yes.
And I think we've answered almost all the questions we've been asking on the Skype group this week.
Mm-hmm.
For those who want to be on the Skype group, just through Skype, contact me, T. Widler, TWIDLAR, and say you want to be in the group, and I'll put you in the group.
And don't abandon the group site there, okay? Get some of your questions out there to the group also, okay?
Yes,
on the group site, okay? There's other people out there that are not on your Skype group that also need to have some of these, see what these questions are, and then see what the response are.
That's a good point. Perhaps in the Skype group, what we should do is whenever we discuss anything, we should then turn around and post that on the Yahoo group.
Okay.
That would do that. So the Yahoo group can get the benefit of what we're talking about, and by just us reposting it makes us think it through, so it makes sense when what we post.
Yeah, when you start writing it down, okay, then you'll start seeing some of your mistakes and your misunderstandings. Okay,
yes.
I do that all the time. I have to go over a document 3 or 4 times. That's why I've had so many revs and everything out there, is because sometimes I sleep on it after I posted it, and I come up with, oh shit, I forgot this.
Oh, I remember one that I noticed. In your 1099-V forgiving the national debt, you spelled the word graven without an R, I think 4 times. Now, I've been able to go into that and insert the R except in the very last box.
Well, I think they'll get my general gist, okay?
I think they'll get the gist.
You don't have to be perfect in spelling in all cases.
Right, well, okay. But the word graven was a key word you picked out, but yes, you do have it 4 other times spelled the right way, so
okay.
I'm sure they got it.
Yeah.
But, nice to keep the point on the nail, because you're really nailing them with that.
Well, that's the only way you can do, okay? You've got to be the squeaky wheel out here. And only the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the grease. If you don't squeak, everything must be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they ain't going to grease you.
So we got to learn to squeak more.
Yes. You've got to be heard. And if you cow down to them, you're not being heard. You've got to stand your ground.
That's for sure.
Well, thank you very much, Patrick. It's been very, very good talk. I think it helped us a lot.
It really clarified things.
Yes, and basically for a woman in any court action, you always stand on the Book of Ruth. I've said this before. That is where a woman's protection is the Book of Ruth. Okay?
Okay.
You try and stay away from referencing any of their codes of law.
Oh.
You reference their codes of law, you are giving credence to their laws being valid laws against you. You operate with the laws of the Declaration of Independence and the laws that basically are found in the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution. And the codes of law are not found in the Constitution.
Good. Anybody want to add anything or ask anything? Or I really thank Patrick for helping us with this tonight.
Yes. I'll try and explain each individual several different breakdowns again tomorrow. I explain like the wages on this call. So, but there's a couple others that we'll cover tomorrow night.
Okay. What I like tonight especially is you gave us a really good idea of, once this starts working for us, how we have to think to keep it working for us.
Yes.
How we have to live our lives from then on. We can't keep doing it the way we were.
Right. You've got to operate in the real world, not in the unnatural world.
Okay. Well, thank you, Patrick.
Okay.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Guys later.
Okay. Thank you very, very much.
Okay. You guys take care.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.